Welcome to Grand Arbiter Petitioners. Hope you're excited. As far as opening hand goes, we've got 3 lands pulled from tomorrow. We do have a mana base in here. We have Mirror Entity. We do have 2 Petitioners, but there's not really any sort of really good card advantage. Let's go on Mulligan. Typically, you want to see some sort of artifact ramp or something like that. And so, yeah, we can make this work. Preordain. Basically, just kind of a strictly worse version of our opening hand, but I tend to be a little bit more aggressive with our opening hand, so I don't really want to go past this. We do at least have a 1 mana cantrip, so we're going to keep. And let's see what the scry is. Tessar it. Yeah, we can put that on top. I think we don't mind Tessar. That's something we can kind of work towards. Let's go for, let's get down Command Tower. And then that way we can still draw into Tessar next turn. We'll go for Preordain, and then we'll go and pass the turn over our opponent. But yes, welcome to some persistent petitioners. Hope you're excited to bust some heads today. We're playing Grand Arbiter, the Fart Monster himself. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Then spells your opponent's cast cost 1 more to cast. We're playing against Sen Triplets, and we'll draw into that Tessar. Let's go for Preordain, and then see what we want to get going. We do have Wasteland in here, but to be perfectly honest, we typically just use Wasteland in a manner to, keep something like Maze of Ith in check. So we're not just going to blast our opponent's land. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3. We definitely need another source for Grand Arbiter. So let's put Lady of the Sun on the bottom, and then we'll put Plains on top, and we'll draw into that Plains. Let's go get down Plains, and then we're going to go and pass the turn. Playing against Sen Triplets, at the beginning of your upkeep, choose target opponent. This turn, that player can't cast spells or activate abilities and plays with their hands revealed. You may play cards from that player's hand this turn. So we've got ourselves a very interesting match. If you haven't seen this deck before, this is a Persistent Petitioner Tribal. One of the things that these petitioners like to do is like to read some scrolls and bust some heads. And you know what? We've reached the very end of our scroll. We're ready to bust some heads, especially against the Sen Triplets. Anything for 3? Yeah, we'll just go and start working towards some of these Grand Arbiters. Be nice to just go and get those down and then kick it back over there. But yeah, this is Persistent Petitioner Tribal. One of the fun, I did add a new card to the deck, and that is High Alert. That turns all these petitioners into some really good advisors swinging in, giving the Sen Triplets some advice. Real quick, so let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to get into Modern, Commander, Multiplayer Commander, 1 versus 1 Commander, Legacy, Penny Dreadful, all sorts of different fun formats on Magic Online, be sure to check out MTGOTraders.com. They will certainly take care of you. And opponent's going to get down Mind Eater. Deals combat, that player exiles a card from their hand face down. You may look at and play. Yeah, I guess we'll just give him Petitioners, I think. I think that'll be fine. We go Ghost Quarter. Let's go Grand Arbiter, Fart Monster. Going to make sure that we can get some good Petitioners down. And then we're simply just going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, also give a shout out to inkgaming.com. Let's say that you're in the market for a custom playmat. Head over to inkgaming.com, use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel out at the same time. They've got some other cool stuff over there too, some dice bags, mouse pads, and I don't know, just go over there, check it out. Have some fun. All right, so opponent's going to tap out 4 mana for Mortify and end up with the Mind Eater, which we can certainly not, we definitely can't block because of that Menace. If that's correct. Yeah, Menace I think is 2. I always forget some of those combat tricks. Not combat tricks, but some of the keywords. We'll just go and let them have Persistent Petitioners. That way we can have just a random little battle. Now we do have Mystical Tutor in our hand. We'll decide what we want to grab with that. I'd really like to get some sort of mana rock going, if possible. Do we want to do this during our upkeep? If not, then we've got Tessar to get down too. You know what, let's go Tessar, because what we can do with Tessar, we can just start to cash in some card drawing. I think that's probably what we want to be doing in this particular scenario. Let's take 1 damage off of the Waste. Let's go Wasteland, and we'll get down Mr. Tessar himself. Go for the 0 build. Well, actually, if we make a Thopter, that'll allow us to block, and then kick it back over there. So we did cover both commanders. We covered sponsors. It is officially free time. We can have some fun now. But yeah, if you haven't seen this deck before, this is Human Advisor Tribal, and man, it's a lot of fun. Basically, one of the cool things about Grand Arbiters is going to give all these Persistent Petitioners just basically 1 blue mana. So we can get down to 1/3, and we can go for the milling if we need to for some reason, but the way this deck is set up is we've got these Human Advisors swinging in the red zone. That's exactly what we want to do. We do have a couple different ways to kind of take advantage of that. We do have Thrumming Stone in here. Coat of Arms is one of my favorite cards in this deck because you get down Coat of Arms. It does kind of make for a complicated board state sometimes, but with Coat of Arms, you get down enough petitioners, and man, you can have a lot of fun. And then outside of that, we've got a lot of mana rocks in here because we want to cash out for some card draw. We got Pull from Tomorrow, Stroke of Genius, and Sphinx Revelation. Now, our opponent is getting off to a really good start, and they're going to be swinging. Yeah, swinging at Tessar. Yeah, that's fine. We're not going to block on that one. This is going to knock Tessar down and down to 5, and we can definitely survive on that. Now, we do have Mystical Tutor. Man, I think we really want to get some sort of protection against Sen Triplets. So let's go for Mystical Tutor. And let's get this popped out. And let's kind of see what's going to help us out. Yeah, let's go and grab Swords to Plowshares. So let's grab that. That'll give us some sort of answer to Sen Triplets entering the battlefield. Let's go for the 0 ability. Let's get down... Actually, if we get down Arid Mesa, we still can't get down Grand Arbiter yet. So let's go for Prairie Stream. It's going to enter the battlefield tapped. And then we're still going to go and leave up these 2 blockers. That way we can at least block on that Mind Eater if we need to. And then next turn we can get down Grand Arbiter. That'll give us the Swords to Plowshare option to go for. That does kind of give our opponent a heads up on what sort of line of play that we do want to basically want to happen because Mystical Tutor does reveal. But at this point right now, we want to at least, I'd rather have it in the hand than not have it. And another thing is if we end up getting down Sen Triplets, so if our opponent can't cast spells or activate abilities, you may play cards from that hand. So if we end up just getting Hellbent with Sen Triplets, it's just not really going to do much. But I still like having access to Swords to Plowshare. Worst case scenario, we end up going for Mind Eater as a way to just kind of keep that particular card in check. All right, so we've got the Mind Eater swinging in again at Tessar, which is perfectly fine with us because we're just going to still sit back and cash in some card draw. Now, if we can get to that extra 2 manas, not 2 manas, but 2 artifacts, that would be really good because that'll be 2 card draws per turn. But hopefully we run into that sometime soon. Let's see what our opponent's going to go for. If this is Sen Triplets, they're basically going to be tapped out on any sort of blue mana, so that'll definitely kind of clear the way for this Swords to Plowshare, which we're certainly going to go for that. So let's go Swords to Plowshare on Sen Triplets. And once we get down Grand Arbiter, that'll at least kind of get the commander tax going up. And if we wanted to, we can end up going Wasteland, but I think we just want to hold on to it at this point right now. All right, so let's see what we draw into. Then we draw into Adaptive Automaton. All right, so we go for the 0 ability with Tessar. Draw a card. Draw into Lady Sun. Let's go for Grand Arbiter. It's going to be 6 total mana. We go for Arid Mesa. And then that way we can grab another dual source. So next turn we get down Adaptive Automaton and Lady Sun. And then hopefully we can cash in a little bit to find either something like Stroke of Genius or Sphinx Revelation as another way for us to get a few more petitioners on the battlefield. Now, if hopefully we can find High Alert or Coat of Arms too, that would be another really fun way to kind of get these filibusters going for our opponent, especially against Sen Triplets. But outside of the core of the deck, I think we're running about 24 petitioners in here. You know, this is definitely one of those decks you can kind of transition to more of a heavy blue-white control deck. But this, you know, the way it's at right now, it's just really fun getting to run, like, you know, Lady Sun. You know, return Lady Sun, another target creature to the owner's hand, activate this ability only before attackers are declared. The fact that it still gets a buff from Adaptive Automaton and still kind of helps you out with all your petitioners, and the fact that Grand Arbiter's a human advisor. I don't know, it's just kind of fun building this really unique human advisor tribal deck. And in fact, if you haven't, whenever opponent casts a spell, unless they discard a card, yeah, I think that's okay. Let's go and crack Arid Mesa. We're going to get down... Let's go. Let's grab Irrigated Farmland. That way it's going to come into play tapped. Oh, dang it. Click was 1 pixel away. We'll still have that come into play tapped. Either way, we're not taking 2 life. And then that's whenever they cast a spell. So we do need to watch out for just basically any spell being cast, because that 5 damage will add up pretty quick. And I think, yeah, they're not going to swing in at Tessar, so they're done swinging in. Let's see what we cash in. Oh, there we go. High Alert. Let's go for the 0 ability because, like I mentioned, we just want a Field of Ruin. Okay. We get that down. Let's go High Alert. That's going to be a blue and a white because of Grand Arbiter. Man, and since we're just not really seeing any pressure from our opponent, so we're going to be taking 15 to deploy our hand out. I guess technically we could get rid of Lady Sun. No, let's be aggressive on this one. All right, so we're going to take 5 on this. Yeah, we're going to be aggressive. This is filibusting time. Let's go for Lady Sun. That's going to be double blue. And then we go for Command Tower. That'll be another 5. And no, we're going to get down Adaptive Automaton. And we're going to name Advisor off of this. And look at that. Look at that painful quandary. All right, I'm not going to pay for that. It's going to put us down to 12. Our life total is a resource, unfortunately, in this particular scenario. Let's go for Advisor. And that's pretty much all we name. And let's go and push in with the whole crew. So we're going to have Petitioner swinging in for 4, swinging in. And then, I guess, yeah, we swing in with Thopter token too. Because then we have Lady Sun and then Adaptive Automaton. All right, so we're at least swinging in for 8. That's going to be 9 coming across. Put our opponent down to 21. And we'll still be able to deal with that Mind Eater. Thankfully, with that Persistent Petitioner. Okay, anything else now, we're going to kick it back over to our opponent. Now, the good thing with Lady Sun is, let's say that our opponent does finally tap out for Sen Triplets. We have no more cards in the hand. Another good thing is that we can still bounce Sen Triplets back to our opponent's hand. And that's another way to kind of keep her in check, or any sort of problem that our opponent's going to get down for us. Basically, the one thing we don't really want to see is something like Elish Norn. That would not be... draws 2... Yeah, oh, heck yeah. We'll take the extra card draw. And that extra card draw reminds me, y'all have everybody has a really nice treat coming for you on Friday, a special version of the EDH Lounge. So I'm really excited about that. It's been something that I've been really excited about for a long time. Let's go 0 to cash in a card draw, because we don't really want to dip below 12 with this painful quandary. And then we can actually just Stroke of Genius into a really good hand. I think that'd be good. Let's go and push in with our entire crew. That's going to be Petitioner, Grand Arbiter, Adaptive, and Thopter. And then we get down Persistent Petitioners on the back end. Okay, that's going to knock him down to 14. And we get down the land drop for the turn. We'll go Island. Let's go Stroke of Genius. We're definitely going to choose ourselves on this one. We don't want to choose our opponent. And what we're going to do on this is we're going to just... draw as much as we can. We draw 6, and that way we can get down Persistent Petitioners next turn. So we're going to click OK. We will end up discarding Misty Rainforest off of this. Yep, that's fine. We got down the lane for the turn, so we're going to draw 6 more cards, and then maybe we kind of catch into another mana. Oh, there we go. Run into Soul Ring. Let's go Persistent Petitioners for 1 blue mana. And then we can just get rid of Irrigated Farmland, because Glacial Fortress will come into play untapped next turn. So let's get rid of Irrigated Farmland, get down the Petitioners, and then we'll do a combat check next turn. And then we're going to go and pass it back over there. So we do have 4, 8. That's going to be 10. That's going to be 12, and that will end up being 16. So we do have lethal. We'll see if our opponent has any sort of board wipe. We do have Unbreakable Formation. So let's say they somehow get down some sort of tokens. We can cast this during our main phase and give all of our creatures +1/+1 and gain Vigilance. So that's another kind of fun way to close the game out. But let's see if they have anything to kind of show for it. Okay, so our opponent ended up going for Unmake, and they're going to exile Mr. Fart Monster himself. But I think with Unbreakable Formation, that's going to allow us to kind of push through on that. And then, yes, we'll draw an additional card off Font of Mythos. Look at all these Petitioners. I love it. Let's go Glacial Fortress. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we go for Unbreakable Formation. Actually, let's go for card draw first. Let's go for the 0 ability, draw a card. Because if we can somehow hit some sort of, counterspell, that would certainly help us out. But I think we just force the Unbreakable Formation right now. Because that's one way to basically just close the game out. We'll go and get rid of Halimar Depths, because we don't need it at this point right now. And then we'll see if they have any sort of counter magic. If they do, we can still at least push in. We don't have to worry about anything like Cyclonic Rift or something like that. So the only thing we're really worried about is going to be a counter spell. And then we can kind of deploy the rest of the... Alright, so they do end up having Arcane Denial. But thankfully, we can get down Sleeping Dragon, this Human Advisor. Ooh, we do not want to discard that. We'll get rid of Halimar Depths. Let's go Sleeping Dragon. And I love that he's a Human Advisor too. We'll get rid of Plains. And that's going to give our creatures +1/+1. So it's basically going to put them on Path or Swords to Plowshare or something to deal with this board state. Because all of our creatures are going to get +1/+1. And then there we go. Let's go and push in. And that should be lethal. All right, Puddle's going to scoop it up on that one so you can see where we get the Human Advisor Tribal. We could get milling going, but I don't want to mill with this deck. We're here to bust some heads, and you can see we're simply just getting out the Sleeping Dragon. We forced our opponents to burn their counterspell on Breakable Formation with the Petitioners and their Scrolls, and then the Sleeping Dragon, he woke up and he was not sleepy anymore, and he helped us swing across. But whenever I think about the Petitioners, you know, instead of milling, and when I think about them attacking, I always like to think of Adaptive Automaton, like they've got their little staff in their hand and they're ready to fight different people. But anyway, we beat Sen Triplets. They were going to try to filibuster us, but the filibusters are experts at it, and we just went physical over the top. So anyways, if you enjoyed the game, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.